All right, we're going to get down to Notre Dame and what they need to do to be successful. Another year where it's just crazy that we can't get over the hump of the Clemsons and Alabamas, and it's as a fan becoming downright embarrassing. Every time you try to go out and watch Notre Dame play in a playoff game, you have your full support of your team, and then boom, they down 14-0, 21-0. End of the game, it might be two or three touchdown lead where they lost by two or three touchdowns. So we gotta take a look and see what we need to do to get Notre Dame in least competitive mode. One thing that I did look at, uh, found the article. Notre Dame is back in business when it comes to 5 stars. That's very important. Notre Dame has to get 5-star talent on the team. The game where they played Alabama versus Notre Dame in the championship game about like 3 or 4 years ago, it was horrible. It was like watching elementary kids getting ran over by high school kids. I remember after that game, a lot of speculation came out that maybe they was on some deer or elk oil because they just blew away Notre Dame's team offensively and defensively. It was like men playing with boys. Um, that was one crazy game to watch. It was so crazy that me and a friend was out at the bar watching the game. This guy seen us with our Notre Dame gear on. He at before halftime he said, "Let me buy you a drink." That's how bad we was losing that game. The last game that we just played, I feel we did a little bit better against Clemson. Excuse me, not at Clemson. We did a little bit better against. Um, wow, who did we just play? Uh, Alabama, but it still wasn't up to par. Um, I'm just so frustrated. I'm just kind of crazy right now. Um, but we got to get our 5-star recruits up. If we can do that, I think we'll have a chance. So we have to be like the Nick Sabans of the world. You know, go out there, find talent, try to get it locally. If not, we're gonna have to hit the road. Uh, now that let's see, Clemson dismantled Iron Book and took advantage of thin defensive backfield en route to a blowout win. Uh, that was the game before the playoffs. It's also true that Notre Dame signed 15 more 4 stars than Clemson between the recruiting class that competed in the contest, the 5 class span of 2014 to 2018. So, how did this happen? And it all is about the 5 stars. So, if you don't have 5 stars on your team, that means you don't have the best of the best. Every year you see Alabama come out with the best of the best players. Uh, their recruitment is awesome. Notre Dame, they're going to have to tighten up and find out why so many high schoolers would choose the preference of Alabama compared to Notre Dame. And then we're going to have to move forward and try to change the program to meet the likeness of what high school uh, teenagers are looking for that are really good players. Uh, we need 5-star recruits. Bottom line, we have to play and to compete each year we're going to have to start pulling out 5-star recruits. Um, it's just no ifs, ands, or doubts about it. Brian Kelly going to have to do a better job of getting better players so that we are not outplayed on offense, defense, special teams. Um, but the best way to do that is, we have to develop who we are. You know, we don't get good quarterbacks. Ian was okay, but he wasn't a 5-star recruit, I don't think. Um, but we got to get some 5-star recruits on running back. Then you have to get a good quarterback. And then you have to start with defensive line. And then wide receivers. You give a 5-star quarterback 4-star wide receivers, that's better than what we've been doing. But we're going to have to focus on getting a 5-star recruits to pay attention to what we're the program in Notre Dame. What we have in our favor. Notre Dame is always on national TV. I think maybe because I'm just a fan, but I see more Notre Dame games when I turn on than any other college team. Maybe Alabama is on regularly, but I just don't see them. But I know NBC, ABC, you always going to be able to turn on Saturdays and see Notre Dame versus whoever. I don't know if joining the ACC is something that would spark more recruits. Given that we're not in a conference within the independent conference naturally, that might be something to look at. If we can start gaining more 5-star recruits by staying in the ACC, then that might be a possibility. Even with Clemson being so dominant in the ACC, if you put Notre Dame in the ACC, people will start paying attention, especially high school 5-star recruits, and say, yeah, maybe this Notre Dame is where I want to go. It got legacy, it got a history, heritage, and that's where I want to go play. But since they're in the independent, I don't know how high school athletes that are in that play football think about Notre Dame being in an independent. Um, maybe they feel like they get better quality of play against their opponents when they're in a division like the ACC or so forth. But it shouldn't be any reason that we should always consistently be one and done in the playoffs. We got to sign more 5-star recruits. We signed one 5-star recruit compared to Clemson's 11. And our 5-star recruit was a guard, while Clemson had elite talent. And this is going back when they had Trevor Lawrence, and I know he's about to go to the draft. But they actually had Xavier Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, T. Higgins over the course of the last 4 years. And this isn't going to close the gap of why we are currently in the past consistently losing to these teams. We got to close the gap. And then our 4-star recruits, we got to coach them to be 5 stars during their stay at Notre Dame. And we got to do a better job than what we've been doing. I don't know if it's Mr. Kelly, the coach Kelly, his staff, but we got to get the most out of each player. Watching that game against Alabama, it was crucial. It was like they can do anything they wanted against us. Offensively, um, they either ran the ball or they threw, and the wide receiver ran long distances. The play where the wide receiver hurdled over our defensive player. That was one that memes were made out of. But um, for us to get respect, we're going to have to demand it. We're going to have to go out there and punch them in the face like they punch us in the face. Now, a 4-star recruit can punch in the face, but consistently and longevity over the game, that's where your player types really play a major role. Um, you can't say a 3-star is better than a 4-star. There's a reason why each player has their star rating. Yeah, can you consistently do it for 4 quarters? That's why you see so many of these games where you have a lesser opponent versus a dominant opponent. They might be able to hang in there to halftime, maybe 3 quarters. But the 5-star the recruits that come in and play and are consistent with their play, dominate they play from start to end, that's where you get better teams. Because, we're all born either man or woman, but if you're a man, over the course, men weaknesses and strengths changes from baby. When you get to high school, there's a reason why these players have 5 stars compared to 4 stars compared to 3 stars. It could be their build, it could be their weight, it could be their athletic ability, it could be their agility. The 5-star system, it plays a lot on if you are a complete athlete or not. When you're a national watch team like Notre Dame, you cannot not have 5-star recruits on your team. You're gonna have to go out and solidify, at least 10, just to be successful. Going back to 24/7, when you go down the list of 2021 5-star recruits, okay, so Alabama got the number 2, South Carolina got the number 1. Let's see, 1, 2. I'm gonna just count how many 5-star recruits Alabama has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, number 48 is a 4-star recruit. Okay, so 7 in the top 50. Need I say Notre Dame has not even came up on the top 50 recruits? And then, not to count Clemson, but let's go back. Clemson has the number 11 best player. He's offensive lineman, 5-star recruit. Okay, so out of the top, okay, here's another one, 33, Clemson, top 5-star recruit too. Okay, and then when you get to number 41, Clemson has a 4-star recruit. But like I said, Notre Dame is not even in the top 50 of players that are 5-star or 4-star. We got the number 52 player. He's a 4-star recruit and a homegrown product. But let's see, Notre Dame number 52. But then right after that, you got Alabama 54, 55, 56. Clemson 59. Then you have Notre Dame, um, 60 best player, 4-star recruit. Um, and most of these are guards. Like number 60 is a guard. Offensive tackle, 52, which is nothing bad, but you got to get offensive players. You can have a good line, and that does make 4-star recruits a little bit better at wide receiver because and also the quarterback because you're going to have a little bit more time. If these 4 stars can grow into 5 stars, that's a good thing, but it can't be what you focused on. You got to go out and get the T. Higgins while they in college. You got to go out and get the Derrick Henrys while they in high school. You got to get the T. Higgins while they in high school. You got to get the Derrick Henrys while they in high school. You want players to come to you knowing that their success on getting to the NFL is on you and your system and your program. And it's hard to do when you keep seeing Notre Dame lose the big games. It's going to be even harder to hold on to the legacy of players wanting to play for the gold dome and the horse. The the stigmatism around the Fighting Irish when you walk and go onto the field. Great movies like Rudy. That's what is going to get lost if we continue to lose. Uh, you know, we're going to be the next BYU or one of the Christian organization colleges that are just went by the wayside, and we won't never get in the spotlight again. This is the time to change this stuff, the way, the mentality that we do things around. So just when you just go down the line, I would say in the top 100, I keep seeing Alabama, I keep seeing Clemson. Um, you know, Out of the top 100, we have a 98. He's a wide receiver, 4-star recruit. Um, Out of the top 100, I would say Alabama made up about 15 um, of the top 100 names. Clemson's right there, around 6 to 7, and Notre Dame, I believe, 3. So, is that going to get us a national championship? Is that going to make people or high schoolers want to go to Notre Dame? We got to do a lot better in getting better recruits in. Um, Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please give me your feedback. I'd love to hear it. Um, please subscribe, like. This is going to be a channel talking about all indie sports. Uh, Big Notre Dame fan, big Colts fan, big Pacer fan, big IU basketball fan. So, like, subscribe. I'd like to hear your feedback. Wanted to get your viewpoint on what we need to do to get Notre Dame back at the top with a national championship. That would feel so good. But please like and subscribe. Until next time. Peace.